Come on, man, you gotta move forward. You can't keep clinging to your past. Here's your look at the Mattel He-Man and the Master Universe Leech, evil master of power suction. This Master Universe Origins Leech action figure from the cartoon collection is inspired by the original He-Man and the Master Universe TV episodes from the 80s. The amphibian-like member of the evil horde is designed with the vintage look at 5.5-inch scale, but with the modern posability of 16 movable joints. This Mo2 toy of Leech and his blaster accessory are inspired by Into Eternia episode. A mini-comic is included for story context of the creature that sucks the life out of his foes. I have a feeling this guy moves pretty fast on relationships. You meet him for the first time, and he already wants to suck face. Let's not suck face, please, anybody in this room. Let's take instead the tape measure and see how tall the brand new cartoon collection Leech actually is. He's not going to be using as much of the mold of the original Leech as you may think, and we'll see that in a second. In the meantime, though, Leech is going to stand at 6 inches in height, or the figure is going to be about 15 centimeters tall. Seeing as he is a Horde member and all, let's bring in Hordak. Hordak was a good-looking cigure. I just wish, though, he came included with his swappable, changeable arm. Here's also what the figure looks like with Mantenna. And seeing as, of course, we are talking about Leech after all, here's what he looks like with his Origins version. What does Leech come with, Magic Storyteller? Well, first, the figure does come included with a paper pamphlet. The pamphlet is just to tell you that everything in gray can be popped, can be swapped out with other cartoon collection figures. I think also, too, the pegs work also universally with the Origins figures, too. So if you want to use these arms with the other Leech, I'm sure you could do that. I haven't actually tried that yet. Let's fold up the pamphlet. Off to the recycling. Well, it missed the recycling, but it's going to go into the recycling shortly. The one other thing that also comes included with Leech is Onslaught to Snake Mountain. The mini-comic, though, is also the same mini-comic that's also going to be featured with these other two characters, while we already are looking at Leech in this review. Faker, which basically is just a recasting of He-Man with now glowing eyes. Blue Faker doesn't exist in the cartoon universe, yet glowing eyes robot Faker He-Man does. Down below as well, there's Katra. But, you know, speaking of Katra, why are we so against the idea of drawing her pretty? I mean, look at the bags underneath her eyes. I don't know if she's got much in the way of a catnap. Speaking of which, though, I think the Katra is also going to come include with a little cat version of her. That's pretty cool. Flipping, though, quickly through the comics, I'm not going to spend a whole lot of time discussing this, but we have Hordak here riding his steed. A lot of cool characters going on in here as well. There's Rio Blast. I don't know if we're going to be getting a cartoon collection Rio Blast. I know we are getting, obviously, there's that Mattel Origins Rio Blast, which is between you and me. Don't tell anybody else whatever you do. We're going to be looking at him this week. Let's put the mini-comic, though, off to the side. But again, like, why does she have to look so old? Anyways. The figure for his one accessory, I suppose you could say, is an episode-specific accessory. It's the Into Etheria. Now, this is the blaster that we see Adora actually carrying around with her. One thing that's interesting, though, the way they handled the blaster is that you can either have, say, like an Adora, which we don't actually have a cartoon collection of her just yet. We have a She-Ra. But back when she was at least a bad guy, you could actually have put this in the handle of one of the figures. But if you want to obviously put it on Leech, how would you put it in Leech's hands? The figure doesn't have any. Well, what you could do is you can take the handle and you can fold it in. Just like that. Now you can take that episode blaster and you basically will just clip it onto his wrist, just like that. And I love the idea that they made it with a collapsible handle. So if you, did want to have it displayed with Leech, you can easily do that. I don't really think I have any plans to display that. Although, when we do eventually get ourselves a door, fingers crossed, hopefully we do, I'm probably going to have that character displayed with this blaster because, again, it's pulled from that episode. It looks pretty good, too. Kind of has a little bit of marbling there, but because at least it's made of metal, obviously it's made of plastic, but because it's made of metal, at least in the episodes, I could get away with at least the idea that it has a lot more marbling than just a regular, like if it was on a character's arm, for example, and that was his skin, I'd be a little bit more miffed the idea that there's so much marbling happened here in the plastic. Spending too much time talking about the blaster? I agree. Let's put it off to the side. So, getting, though, a closer look at Leech, who happens to also appear into a Theory episode. The thing about it, though, he appears so quickly. He basically just leeches his hands around. I can't remember the character that he does this to. And he basically just wanted to extract her energy. The one thing, though, about Leech is that in the episode, he does also have regular hands. Now, they chose not to give him regular hands. I kind of wish that they could have also included that as well as an additional accessory. I know. It probably would have been a lot difficult to remove the hands. Although, to be fair, though, no, hold on a second. Origins technically did the same as well. You could have swapped out the hands and changed them out for the suction cup hands. I just usually have the figure displayed with this like that. If you wanted to, I guess technically you could take off the suction cup hands. They're basically just plugged in place like that. And for all intents and purposes, Mattel could have just included the regular hands for Leech. I think most people probably would tend to display Leech anyways with his suction cup hands. He happens to have it, though, on his hands. He has it down below on his feet. Now, the thing, unfortunately, though, about Leech goes with the territory of having him with suction cup feet, is that the figure's going to have a little more tough time to stick on a shelf. Now, you could go what most kids would have done in the 80s when you had something you guys stick to a wall. I'm sure most people do that as well. They go, they basically just breathe onto the suction cup and stick it onto the window that way. If you were a kid, some people probably still do this now. You could just lick the ends of that and stick it on the wall that way. Because I don't like to tend to lick my figures, stop that. Stop that. I'm just going to try to do my best to balance this guy on the shelf. He's going to have a little bit more of a harder time to balance, though. So what I might just end up doing is having him leaning against other Horde members. For the head sculpt, though, it's pretty cartoon accurate, I would say. He doesn't have, obviously, the big suction cup face like this guy does have. But he does look very much like the part. I like the coloring that they gave for this guy. It's kind of this, I don't know, like greenish blue tint. It's got some nice teeth there sculpted on the top and on the bottom. Got big, large red eyes. Those look nice as well. And then for down below, of course, he has his regular Horde torso piece, which really isn't that much different from the Origins version. The arms, again, match the same coloring as the face. So does down below here on the legs. The suction cups, again, I wish there was one way that they could have maybe given a swappable option for those legs. But I know most people, when they tend to think of Leech, they tend to think of, no, stop that, don't lick those. For the figure's articulation, though, Leech's head is going to be on a ball joint, so it allows the head to rotate all the way around. Could it look up? It could look up. Could it look down? Yes, it can. And it can also rock back and forth as well. For the arms, they do rotate all the way around. They rotate all the way around. You can also hinge them out about 90 degrees. There's a single hinge only in the elbow, but hey, you know, that single hinge does allow this forearm to rotate back and forth. And because the way also that the hands plug in place, which I think, though, where was my little paper pamphlet? Here I am throwing these things away. Does the paper pamphlet well, it does have like the arms showing that they're swappable, but it doesn't actually show, I mean, technically the hands are also in gray too, so those could be swapped out because there's also little dots next to it. Ooh, those little pins stuck in his body. Ouch. But yeah, if you wanted to, let's bring in the other Leech here just to show you guys. Take off the arms. There we go. Take off the arms here for Origins Leech. And does it work? Yes, Virginia, there is a Santa Claus. You can plug those easily in place. Plug this back in place. There we go. He has a waist swivel. He has legs splitting via the ball joint action working behind the scenes. Legs, in fact, go forward. They move back. He has a single hinge in the knee. Rotates back and forth. The feet as well, where the boot would normally be, rotates also all the way around. And technically, you could say that these swivel as well. They did somewhat suggest the idea that he also has toesies, and he also has thumbsies and fingersies. Stop that. So the figure does have some sculpted in digits. Although, again, I kind of wish that this figure could have also come included with swappable hands. Is that asking too much? Maybe it is asking too much. One thing, again, already stating the obvious, is that this guy's going to have a harder time to stand. I mean, you could lick the bottom of these, but I so far haven't had any times where I've had to lick the bottoms of the figures. I'm not going to be starting that any time now. Leech is, yeah, going to still have the same issues of balancing. But, you know, again, like if you have him displayed with the rest of his Horde brethren, I suppose you probably could have the figure displayed. Why am I having now, again, such a hard time getting this guy to stand? I mean, technically also I had this guy having, most of the time when I have Leech standing on the shelf, I have this guy basically just leaning against Hordak. I just even do the same here with the cartoon collection of Leech. Yeah, it's a good looking figure. It's going to have still the same problems that face anytime you get yourself a character like Leech. If he's not going to have swappable feet, then he's going to always have an issue of standing straight and not falling over, which it looks like he's almost about to fall over. So let's jump right to the turntable. Whew, got to the turntable just in the nick of time. But how much time does this guy now have? I'm going to have to rush this along. It was Glimmer, by the way. Glimmer was the character I was trying to think of that Leech was sucking out her soul. Also did that with Bo as well. Leech only just appears for like a blink and you miss it sort of moment. No, that's not true. He's in it just enough that you recognize that the character is there, along with all the other cronies of Hordak. Funny though enough that Adore is still part of that before she switches sides to the rebellion. The accessory that he includes, though, is one of the weapons that we see her carrying around. She actually, I think, shoots either at He-Man, and He-Man's deflecting it off with his sword. So at least it's something you could say has appeared in an episode. It's certainly, though, a little bit more interesting than some of the other episode-specific accessories we've gotten in the past. Leech looks the part. I mean, from a color standpoint of the cartoon, he looks very much like he does. The thing is still that bothers me is always going to be a problem that's going to be facing any Leech figures. Suction cup hands is one thing. When you get suction cup feet, it causes just a nightmare of getting this guy always to stand properly. It's only just by a pure miracle alone that this guy is right now standing on this rotating rotisserie. But again, like, I do like the look of Leech quite a lot, and obviously if a character like this is going to appear in the episodes, I'm glad to see that Mattel finally released him. What do you guys think of Leech? Let me know down below. You like the look of the figure? Or is this one that maybe you're not even collecting the cartoon collection, you're sticking solely to Origins? Let me know if you are still collecting both the Origins line and as well the cartoon collection, and which version of Leech do you like a little bit more. If you guys also did enjoy this video, you can do it a solid and throw it a like. You guys want to stick around for more so? Oh, did he start to move? I think we're okay. If you certainly like to stick around for more so, and I hope so, hit that subscribe, turn on that bell, and of course come back. As always, thanks for watching. See you guys next time.